Have you ever seen those YouTube video thumbnails where people are like, I spent $14 and I'm probably gonna make $18,000, and you're like, what? Like, how are you gonna do that? In this video, I'm actually gonna break down for you one of my thrift hauls and let you know how much I made on it so far, how many items haven't sold yet, and all that good stuff. So stay tuned.
Won't nobody love you the way they should. Won't nobody check up on you, make sure you're good. Won't nobody check those body tremors for your neck.
Hi everyone, my name is Becky Park and I am a part-time reseller on Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, Citizen, basically anywhere you can make money selling clothes. And today I'm pretty excited because I'm doing a video like nothing I've ever done before. And I don't really know that I've seen people do this before, but I think that it'll be really helpful. It was really helpful for me even putting it together. So basically what I did was I revisited a haul video that I made 3 months ago. It's actually 3 months ago from today because today is May 15th and I recorded that video on February 15th. So 3 months ago, I recorded a pretty big haul, probably one of my biggest hauls that I had thrifted 2 weeks even prior to when I had filmed it. So the thrift trip happened in January and the haul video was recorded on February 15th. Today is May 15th and we're gonna be talking about all the things that I've learned from that haul, as in how many things have sold, what platforms did they sell on, how much did they sell for, how many things still haven't sold, all that good stuff. But first, let me provide a little bit of context on that particular thrift trip. So in January, there was a weekend that I went away for a weekend to a city that's like an hour away. And why I went there was because it was the All-State Music Festival. And so a handful of students, plus myself, plus some colleagues, we, went there with our students who are participating in this conference. And for the teachers, they have like all these seminars and workshops and stuff that you can go to. I don't really like to go to those. Like I went to one, but I was really excited about being in a new town and not being encumbered by like responsibilities that I typically have at work or even at home with my own children and stuff. And so the idea of being able to thrift for long periods of time was obviously very appealing to me. So on a Friday night, I went to a Salvation Army that was about 20 minutes away from our hotel. And I only had about 45 minutes to shop because they closed at 8 p.m. and not 9 p.m. like I expected. And so I kind of rushed through the store and just looked at like a few racks. But as I was checking out, I noticed that they had a bunch of these signs that they were getting ready to put up. And the signs basically said that all of the clothing items in the store would be $5 for 5 items, excluding one color tag, and that sale was happening the next day. So I saw the signs, and I think I asked one of the workers, like, oh, is that sale happening tomorrow? And they're like, yeah. And so I made plans to make sure that I went back to that Salvation Army to shop until I dropped. So the next morning, which was Saturday, I got there like basically right when they opened, and I was there for 5.5 hours. If you want to watch that video, I will link it here as well as in the description below. It's funnily enough like my most watched video, even though it is over an hour long. So if you haven't seen it, I would suggest watching it just because it'll provide even more context to everything that I'm about to say. But even if you haven't, I think there's still value in what I'm going to share with you. But just to provide even a little bit more context about what thrifting looks like for me in my particular neck of the woods, I live in a college town. There just aren't a lot of like amazing brands at my thrift stores because, it's like a lot of college kids and then it's people who live in kind of this more rural town. So people are not, really shopping at places like Anthropologie or Free People or Revolve or, I'm not finding a lot of those kinds of brands very often. The town that I went to thrift is very similar. They're like a little bit more metropolitan than the town that I live in, but not by much. And they also are kind of a college town because there are like 3 smaller colleges in that area. So I wasn't expecting to find like Prada and Supreme and, all these crazy things because I know where I'm at. I know what kind of stuff to expect. I knew to expect a lot of bread and butter, and that's basically what I found. And a lot of you have shared with me, in the comment section down below that one reason why you like to watch my videos is because you feel like you can relate because the kind of stuff that I find and that I sell is similar to what you're finding and selling as well, especially if you are in the Midwest or you're not in like a metropolitan area. It's hard to relate to some of these resellers who are in bigger cities and are able to find some of of these high-end brands much more readily than we are. That's not to say that we're any better or we're any worse or anything like that. It's just different. And so, you know, the majority of what I found that day was bread and butter. There were a few new to me brands that I'll share with you as well, but that was the context. I was there for 5.5 hours. I did not eat lunch during that time, so I was like famished by the time I was done. I was like, I just need food. And I think that was really kind of what caused me to stop thrifting, was because I just had reached the point where I was so hungry. I went through every single rack of men's and women's clothing. I did not go through the shoe racks because that was actually what I did the day before when I went to that Salvation Army. That was like where I went to first, was the shoe rack. And I'm glad I did, because, you know, the shoes were not on sale on that Saturday for that 5 items for $5 sale. So I'm glad that I got the shoes, you know, that I wanted from that Salvation Army the day before. But in this video, we're just going to be talking about the 69 items that I thrifted on that Saturday in those 5.5 hours. Okay, so I have some notes in front of me, which is why you'll see me like glancing over this way. But I spent a total of $91.73. That's because although the majority of the items that I got were $1, I did get 2 items that were not part of that $1 sale. One was a pair of Columbia women's like hiking boots, and they had Gore-Tex, so they were waterproof. And the other thing that I got that was not part of the sale was a hard good, and it was this Vineyard Vines floaty. So those 2 items I did pay like the full price for, but everything else, you know, was $1. So I got 69 items for $91.73. That also includes tax. So how it broke down as far as what I bought, like I said, I had the 1 hard good, and then I got 24 men's pieces and 44 women's pieces. So I definitely started in the women's section, and I think like as I kind of got tired of looking at women's stuff, like I would kind of go over to the men's a little bit, I'd go back to women's, and that way, you know, it kind of kept things a little bit fresh for me. I did find some brands that were new to me. Again, like none of these are amazing, but they're just bread and butter. Some of them good bread and butter, some of them not so much. So one of the brands was Fashion Nova for men. Not worth picking up. I sold that item for $9. So, you know, like I don't need to try it again, but I wanted to see like if it would sell well. It did sell quickly, but it sold for $9. I also found FootJoy, which is a golf brand. I found Lilla P, which I don't think it's like super popular. I did some research on it. I've already forgotten all the research that I did. I want to say that it's either sold at like Nordstrom, or maybe the brand has even been carried at Anthropologie. I don't remember. I personally really like the sweater, but it hasn't sold yet. And then I also found a Southern Tide piece, and it was my first time finding that brand, which is also like a pretty preppy brand, similar to Vineyard Vines. And what I found was a men's golf polo. And then I found Tory Burch for the first time. It was a rough Tory Burch piece. It was literally just like a green polo, and I don't even have it listed yet. That's how rough it is. I'm like trying to figure out how I can make it sellable. So there's that. And then I found the brand Untuck It. So out of all of those, only the Fashion Nova for men and Untuck It piece have sold. So there you go. Okay, so let's talk about what sold, shall we, from that haul. And obviously I'm not going to sit here and go through every single item with you, because you and I both don't have time for that, but I'm going to kind of just give you an overview. So first of all, I do have a couple non-listed items. One is that Tory Burch piece that I already talked about, and the other one is this Michael Stars open front cardigan. I don't have that listed yet because it is like a cream color, and there was some sort of stain on it. So my husband did get it out, and it is waiting to be photographed and all that stuff. So it's going to be listed soon, but you know, here we are 3 months later, and there are 2 items from this 69 piece haul that I just haven't listed yet. One item, it was a Brandy Melville striped tunic, or like, you know, just longer shirt. I actually gave that to one of my students. I have a student who shares my Poshmark closet every night, and as she was sharing, she took a screenshot of that shirt and she sent it to me, and she was like, "Can I buy this off of you?" And I was like, girl, you can just have it. Like, it's probably, you know, I'd probably make like $10 on it or something. And as kind of a thank you to her for doing a good job, I was like, you know, just take it. So I put it in my mailbox, and she came by and picked it up from me. So that, you know, I don't really count in any of these numbers, as you'll see, but that's what happened to that item. And then 6 items I sent out in mystery boxes. Now, before you ask, I don't do mystery boxes, but I did do a few, you know, in the past 3 months, just for a few random things. So like, I sent out a mystery box to someone who had reached out and just said that they didn't have a lot of inventory. And I was like, well, I have a ton. So as long as you don't mind being sent a lot of bread and butter, like I can send you some stuff. I sent out a mystery box as part of a giveaway that I was doing in the first couple weeks of quarantine when I was doing a video a week and I had like a giveaway attached to each video. So I had a mystery box go out for that. And then I had one more mystery box go out as part of my 10K giveaway. So I did send out 6 of these items through those mystery boxes, but generally speaking, I don't like to do mystery boxes because I don't really find amazing stuff to begin with. And that means if I'm sending out mystery boxes and I'm trying to keep the good stuff for myself, I mean, you can only imagine like what kind of stuff people are getting. So I don't do mystery boxes. The idea of making them and selling them really stresses me out, but 6 items did go out in those mystery boxes. Okay, so now let's talk about the platforms that these items sold on and how much I made on each platform. So on Mercari, I had one sale from this thrift haul, and it was this pair of ModCloth wide leg dress pants. They were in rougher shape than I remembered when I thrifted them. So when I like got them home and processed them, I was like, oh, there's kind of a lot of pilling and a few other issues. So they sold for like $15 on Mercari. And then I had 3 sales actually just from that YouTube haul. So after the YouTube haul went live on YouTube, I had a few people reach out to me and let me know that they were interested. And 2 of those people ended up buying from me. One person bought a bundle of a Merrill pullover with a turtleneck situation. I don't know how to explain it. And then she also got a maxi dress by the brand Fresh Produce. And then I sold a Thomas Rhett concert t-shirt to another viewer. And so those 3 items I sold for $42. On eBay, I have sold 7 of these items so far for a total of $145.50. And then on Poshmark, I've sold 16 items from this haul for a total of $427. So far, out of the 69 items, I have sold 28 of the items for a total of $629.50. That is my gross sales. So that's not taking out all of like the Poshmark fees or if I had to pay for shipping on anything or if I offer discounted shipping. So I obviously didn't make $629.50 of profit, but that's like my gross sales thus far. And then if you were to deduct the amount that I spent at that Salvation Army, that means I've so far made a total profit of $537.77. Again, that is gross sales, not net. So that means that my sell-through rate on all of those items is 46.67%. So basically like 47%, almost half. I sold through almost half of the stuff that I listed on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari, which I don't know, like, do you think that that's good or bad, given that, now we're 3 months after that haul video? And that doesn't mean that I got that stuff listed in a super timely manner either, because it does take me a while to list. I have like different systems of listing. So I have, like the playroom that maybe you've seen in like vlogs and stuff, where I do the majority of my photographing and whatnot. And then I have like a whole group of items that I save up because they don't look very good on the wall in my playroom. So I take pictures of them in my dining room because it has like this rich blue color. So like all of my white items, anything that's like a cream or even like some shades of green, light blues, stuff like that just doesn't look good on my grayish blue wall in the playroom. So I will photograph those in a different space. And so those pictures get photographed like at different times. So I don't know, it's really weird. And some of these items just haven't been listed for very long. And some of them have been, but I'm curious, let me know in the comment section down below if you think that that's good or bad, that my sell-through rate is basically about 50% 3 months after making this haul video. So I still have 32 items left to sell, and my average sales price so far on the items that I have sold through is $22.48, which like seems about right. I mean, like I said, the majority of the stuff that I was picking up was bread and butter stuff. I didn't have any huge scores as far as like amazing brands. I mean, the Tory Burch brand is probably the best brand that I picked up, but it was, to be honest, like not an amazing piece. After that, the best brand was probably like Joie, although that dress still hasn't sold. I did find a couple Eileen Fisher pieces, stuff like that. I wasn't finding anything that was like a home run, like this is amazing, I'm gonna make hundreds off of this item. I just very rarely find that kind of stuff in my area. So let's talk about the worst sales thus far from these 28 sales that I've had. So one I've already talked about, it's that Fashion Nova men's button-up piece. I just thought it was so obnoxious and so crazy, and I just kind of wanted to see what would happen with it. And when you're only paying $1 for stuff, it's like, I'm willing to take a risk and just try things just to see, what happens. And so that item sold for $9. The other item that sold for, not a lot, which I was a little bit surprised by, was a Demi Lovato tour shirt. And I thought that the shirt was really cool. It was fluorescent, it had this big graphic of Demi Lovato on the front and the tour dates on the back, but comps for it just weren't that good. People were letting go of this shirt for really cheap. Now, my two best sales from what I've sold so far, I'll be honest with you, I'm pretty surprised by both of them. So the first one was this Eileen Fisher sleeveless linen blend dress. I don't know, it kind of looked to me like the type of item that you would just kind of lounge around the house in. Maybe you would go grocery shopping in. I don't know, but I think when I was looking up comps for, dresses similar to this, I was like, okay, these are consistently selling for, the high $40 to low $50 range. Let me just shoot for the stars here. I think I listed it for $48 and I got an offer on it for $45. And I was like, this person deserves a gold star because she is amazing at making reasonable offers. I just remember it being so reasonable and I was so shocked that it sold for that amount, but I pressed accept very quickly to that offer and I sold that dress for $45. The next sale I was even more shocked by. It was a dress by the brand Cachet, which was a really popular mall brand in the 90s. Cachet sold cocktail dresses and going out dresses for women in their 30s and 40s, and they were really well known for their kind of slinky bodycon dresses, which this definitely was. This had a wavy white and black graphic to it. It was either 3/4 sleeve or long sleeve, and it had a really nice tie at the waist. It was really pretty. I listed it for $48 and it sold for my full asking price, which I was pretty shocked by. I do think that Cachet is no longer a company. So, if there's a dress that people really want, or if they're just kind of nostalgic about the brand, I think that there is kind of a demand for this brand, but I still didn't expect it to sell for $48. So that was pretty cool and very surprising. All right. So some regrets that I have from this haul are picking up men's dress shirts or just men's button-up shirts, as well as women's dress pants. So I picked up an LL Bean button-down shirt, as well as a Chaps button-down shirt, and I just don't know why. And actually, while we're on the topic, I picked up some big, chunky men's sweaters, and I don't know, they're not getting a lot of interest on any platform and they're so bulky and so big. I'm just why did I do that? I think my reasoning and logic was, it's just $1. What can I lose? Well, so those are kind of some regrets of mine. Women's dress pants too. I just already have so much because if you've watched my channel at all, you know that I get a lot of stuff for free from, different people in my life, a lot of my friends, family, church members, stuff like that. And I feel like I get a lot of dress pants from places like Loft or Express or, Ann Taylor. So I don't know why I bought more. Some of them that I picked up I thought were pretty cool, the ModCloth super wide leg ones, and I got a pair similar to that from BCBG Max Azria, but I also got really basic dress pants from Banana Republic, and why? I already have so many in my Poshmark closet that are not selling, so I don't know. I'm not saying that you shouldn't pick up that kind of stuff because I think there is a market for it, but especially now that people are rethinking what the workplace is going to look like after the pandemic. I think it's Twitter. Twitter announced that their employees can work from home forever. They're never going to require them to come back to an actual office because I think they realize, why do we make people come into an office building? People are still getting their stuff done working from home. Let's just not have an office building. And if that's the case, people surely are not going to be wearing Banana Republic dress pants in the comfort of their own home as they're working remotely. That's just not going to be a thing. So maybe there's less of a demand for this career style niche, but as of right now, until we kind of know what the future of the workplace looks like, I mean, it's not a bad thing to have a few in your closet, but I already have too many. So that was definitely a regret. But brands that, you know, I did pick up that I was surprised with and happy that I did try out. One was Adriano Goldschmied. I picked up 3 pairs of men's Adriano Goldschmied pants, and 2 of them have sold already. One sold for $35 and one sold for $40. So those, you know, did really well, and I definitely am going to be on the lookout for men's Adriano Goldschmied from now on. And then during that same weekend, but not at the Salvation Army, I did pick up like a women's pair of Adriano Goldschmied skinny jeans, and they sold too for my full asking price. So it's a good brand, and it's not one that I find very often, but you know, it always fetches, for me at least, within that like $30 to $40 range, which is amazing for me because, you know, most of my stuff is selling for like $15 to $25. I also was surprised by John Deere. I picked up 2 John Deere pieces. One was just like a pullover sweater and one was a camo print t-shirt. Both of them sold, not for a high amount, but I was just kind of more curious as to like, do people still like John Deere? And it turns out they do. Not like $40, $50 worth, but they like John Deere for like $15 to $20. So, you know, I just thought that that was interesting. So now I know if I see it, if it's, you know, $1 or something, like it's not a bad buy. All right. And then just to kind of end on a pretty cliche note, you know, a lot of times people will do thrift hauls and they will end by saying, I think I'm going to make X amount on this haul. And I still have, like I said, 32 items left to sell. And if I had to conservatively estimate how much I think I can still make off of this particular haul, I think that I can still make around $593. Again, that's with me being pretty conservative. And another thing that I'm trying out now is actually ThredUp. I've been watching a lot of people who are killing it on ThredUp. A couple people that I'll mention are Vandy's Closet. I will link her YouTube down below, and she's also on Instagram under that same name. And then Rebecca, and I think she changed her YouTube handle to Rebecca the Reseller, but I will link her down below as well. They both have been just killing it on ThredUp and sharing a lot of their knowledge that they've learned. But there are a few items from this haul that I think would do better at ThredUp than on Poshmark or eBay. So I might send some of those into ThredUp, even though right now ThredUp is taking like 10 to 12 weeks to process, you know, boxes and bags that they get in, but it's okay. I'm patient. So I'd love to hear from you what you thought about this video. Let me know in the comment section down below if you like this format and if you'd be interested in me auditing any of my other thrift hauls. Because I don't know, like for me, it was really valuable to just go through and see what stuff is actually selling and to start seeing some like commonalities between, oh, like these brands really do well, and oh, this brand like I picked up because I thought it was going to do well and it just really didn't. So if you'd like to see my reflections on thrift hauls, you know, after some time, definitely let me know. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button. If you're brand new here, welcome. Thank you so much for just the gift of your time and hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed what you saw, and if you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope that you are staying safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.